She was tired, before the day even started. Not sleepy, not lazy, tired, because before she even got out of bed, her mind was already working. Lunchbox, laundry, bills, groceries, appointments, messages, a birthday gift, a permission slip, lost somewhere in a backpack. No one had asked her anything yet, but somehow, everything already needed her. She stood in the kitchen, holding coffee. She would probably drink cold. The house looked quiet, but inside her head, the day had already begun. And that was the part nobody saw. Not the dishes, not the laundry, not the calendar. The invisible part, the remembering, the planning, the noticing, the carrying. Then she looked at the wall calendar and froze. One square was empty. No task, no reminder. No one needing her, just blank space. And somehow that scared her more than being needed by everyone. For a moment, she thought she had found time. Real time. Empty time. Hers. But her first feeling was not relief. It was panic. She stared at the blank square, like something was missing from it. There had to be something. A dentist appointment, a school form, a work call, a grocery run, someone's medicine, someone's deadline, someone's problem, waiting to become hers. She took the calendar off the wall and placed it on the kitchen counter. Then she opened a drawer, looking for a pen. Not because she wanted to write, because the empty space felt wrong, too quiet, too open, too unfamiliar. And that was when she noticed something. She did not know what she wanted to do with a day that belonged to no one else. She could plan everyone's meals, remember everyone's appointments, notice everyone's moods. But when the day asked her, "What do you want?" she had no answer. She stood with the pen in her hand, waiting for something to come. Anything, laundry, groceries, a call, a form, a reminder. But nothing came. The square stayed empty. So she opened the fridge, not because she was hungry, because checking the fridge felt easier than checking herself. Milk was low, eggs were almost gone. There was half an onion, wrapped in plastic. She wrote groceries inside the blank square, then stopped, because she already knew that was not really the problem. The problem was not the fridge, or the calendar, or the laundry. The problem was the silence that appeared when no one needed her. She looked around the kitchen, the dishes, the backpack, the folded clothes, the cup of coffee, already cooling in her hand. Everything had a place. Everything had a purpose, except her. And for the first time that morning, she wondered, when did my life become a list of things I do for other people? Then the house began to wake up. A door opened, a faucet turned on, footsteps crossed the hallway, and the questions started. Where is my blue shirt? Did you see my charger? Do we have more cereal? What time is the appointment? Did you sign the form? Where are the keys? Each question was small, almost harmless, but every small question landed in the same place, on her. She answered without thinking. Second drawer, laundry basket, top shelf, 3:30, already signed, beside the microwave. No one looked surprised, because somehow everyone expected her to know, not because she was asked to, not because anyone had written it down, but because she always knew. She knew what was missing, what was late, what was almost empty, what was about to become a problem. And while everyone moved through the morning, she stood there, holding a life that did not fit inside one body anymore. Then someone asked, "What's wrong?" And she almost laughed, because nothing was wrong. That was the problem. Everything was normal, and normal was exhausting her. Then the door closed. The house became quiet again. No footsteps, no questions, no one calling her name. For 1 second, she thought she might breathe. But the silence did not feel peaceful. It felt like a room, waiting for her to remember something else. She went back to the counter and looked at the list. Milk, laundry, pharmacy, school form, dinner, email, birthday gift. She stared at the words and felt something strange. Everyone was there. The kids, her partner, the house, the bills, the appointments, even the dog. But her name was nowhere, not once. There was no line that said, sit down, no line that said, eat slowly, no line that said, ask yourself if you are okay. She picked up the pen and almost wrote her own name, but her hand stopped because she did not know what to write beside it. She knew what everyone needed, but when it came to herself, the page went blank. She walked to the bathroom, still holding the pen, not because she needed anything there. She just needed somewhere quiet, where no one was asking. The mirror was waiting, plain, ordinary, honest. She looked at herself and almost looked away. There was nothing dramatic to see, no breakdown, no disaster, just tired eyes, hair pulled back too quickly, a sweater with a small stain she had not noticed before. She leaned closer. And for the first time that morning, she did not check if she looked presentable. She checked if she was still there. That thought scared her, because she could remember everyone's breakfast, everyone's schedule, everyone's allergies, everyone's moods. But she could not remember the last time she had asked herself, what do I need? She placed the pen beside the sink, turned on the water, then turned it off again. She did not wash her face. She did not fix her hair. She just stood there, looking at a woman who had become so useful. She had almost disappeared. She went back to the kitchen. The list was still on the counter, the empty square, still waiting. For a moment, she did something almost impossible. She sat down. No laundry in her hands, no phone, no pen, no one asking. Just her and the cup of coffee, now cold. She looked at it and thought about making another one, a fresh one, hot, just for herself. But then her eyes moved to the sink. 1 plate, 2 cups, a spoon. Nothing urgent, nothing terrible. Still, her body wanted to stand up. Fix it, clean it, use the quiet mind before someone needed her again. She stayed seated, 10 seconds, maybe 15, and somehow it felt wrong, like she was stealing time from the house, from the people she loved, from a life that had trained her to feel guilty whenever she was not useful. She wrapped both hands around the cold cup and finally understood something. She was not bad at resting. She had just been taught that rest was only allowed after everything else was done. She picked up the pen again. The blank square was still there, quiet, open, almost waiting. This time, she did not write groceries. She did not write laundry. She did not write call anyone. She wrote one word, me. Then she stared at it. 3 small letters, and somehow they looked strange on the calendar, out of place, like she had written something selfish. She almost crossed it out, then stopped, because no one had told her she was not allowed to be there. No one had erased her name. No one had said, your needs do not matter. But somehow, over the year, she had learned to live that way. She could make room for everyone. A birthday party, a dentist visit, a late meeting, a missing shoe, a bad mood, a forgotten lunch. But when she tried to make room for herself, her hand shook. She looked at the word again, me. And for the first time, it did not feel like a plan. It felt like someone she had not checked on in years. She looked at the word again, me. Then she turned the page over and wrote a question. What do I need? She stared at it for a long time. The answer should have been simple. Sleep, quiet, help, a walk, a day off, a meal she did not cook, a room where no one called her name. But none of those words came first. The first thing that came was guilt. What if the house fell behind? What if someone needed something? What if resting made her selfish? What if asking for help made everyone think she could not handle it? She hated that thought because she had handled it. For years, she had carried birthdays, appointments, laundry, meals, moods, missing socks, silent resentment, and everyone's little emergencies. She had carried so much that people stopped seeing it as carrying. They called it normal. They called it love. They called it what she was good at. But sitting there with one blank question in front of her, she finally saw the truth. Being good at carrying everything does not mean everything should be yours to carry. She looked at the list again, then at the kitchen. The dishes were still there. The laundry was still there. The backpack was still open. The day had not become lighter, but something inside her had changed. For years, she had kept the list in her head, invisible, silent, easy for everyone else to miss. So she did something small, something that felt almost rude. She took a clean sheet of paper and wrote everything down. Not perfectly, not politely, just honestly. Lunch, laundry, groceries, forms, appointments, bills, dinner, medicine, backpack, birthday gift. And at the bottom she wrote one more line. Ask for help. She stared at those 3 words, longer than all the others. Then she placed the paper in the middle of the kitchen table, not hidden, not folded, not kept inside her mind, visible. For the first time, the weight had a shape, and once she could see it, she understood. Maybe love was not supposed to mean being the only one who remembered everything. That evening, the house was not fixed, the list was not finished, and she was not suddenly free. But the paper stayed on the table, visible, and beside the words, ask for help, she wrote one more line. I am here too.